Access to clean energy is an important step to achieving sustainable development in Nigeria, where 57% of an estimated 130,900 child deaths due to acute lower respiratory infections is attributable to household air pollution. Emitting large amounts of air pollutants such as black carbon, fuels traditionally used for cooking and lighting are the main sources of household air pollution in Nigeria. In addition to their heavy health and environmental costs, these fuels are also often expensive and unreliable. Kerosene, for example, a subsidized fuel commonly used for lighting, is often in short supply. Making clean energy more widely available to end users, especially to households located in remote places, remains a challenge, as financing options must be attractive to microfinance institutions and affordable for consumers. The Rural Women Energy Security Initiative, RUWES, was established to handle projects derived from the need to save lives, the earth, and improve rural economy. It is targeted at the underserved rural woman who is usually off-grid, energy poor, and has the highest incidence of health-related issues from harmful energy practices. The main goals of the RUWES initiative are to enlighten and provide rural women with clean and green energy alternatives locally available for cooking, heating, and lighting needs, as well as improve the quality of water, sanitation, and hygiene. To this end, RUWES has embarked on advocacy visits to states and rural women. The initiative has also introduced clean cook stoves to rural women in remote areas with pilot projects in Mararabamburum in the FCT and some communities in Katsina State.
We have introduced carbon credit, or you call it climate credit. That is, a woman, when she uses that stove, after a month, the sensor sends signals to the office, which reads what they are doing. At the end of the month, we compliment them by saying, well done for using this stove. Because we have the reading, we pay them cash for using the stove, which reduces a lot of smoke. The woman also testified that how cooking is always faster and free pollution, that she enjoys cooking on that stove. That stove too, we have charging point. When you are cooking, you can be charging your cell phone. The one in Mayadia, we are yet to bring that type because we are still test running. Yes, it's a pilot, and we want to continue with the pilot by supplying more stoves in that area because they have done well, the community in Burum.
Farkon da suka kawo ban gane mishi ba, inda ba mu gane tun da an kawo sabo sai ka fahimta kai tukuna. Tunda muka zo muka gane a kai gawayi, matsalan shi kenan gawayi. In kana da gawayi shi kenan, amma ba gawayi bayan da za ka yi aiki da shi. Gawayin kuma ba ruwanka da hayaki, amma ka zuba itace hayaki zai ta yi kafin ya kama. Muna amfani da shi kenan sai ranar sai ga su suka kira shi hakimi wai suna nan zuwa za fara biyan. Da suka zo sai suka ce mana to ga yanda kowa ya samu, ni dai na samu 1,000 da naira 50.
What is the cost implication for the provision of the clean cook stoves?
So the women for the Katsina project, the women are not paying anything because the government of Katsina took it upon themselves to do that. That's why we went to that remote area, very remote, where they find life difficult, source of living, So it has been given to them as free. Yes. The subsequent ones, once we introduce other means of livelihood to them, then we start asking them if they can pay a little. So we want them to have ownership of anything that we are going to do, Subsequently, there will be series of trainings that will be introduced to them in various ways that will help them.
The Rural Women Energy Security Initiative is in partnership with the Knowledge and Solution Center of the Climate and Clean Air Coalition, CCAC, United Nations Environment, UNEP, as well as having recently attained observer status of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. They are also partners with the Federal Ministry of Environment, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, as well as that of Agriculture. As part of its advocacy on the use of clean stoves and the fight against black soot, the RUES team visited Kaduna to inspect the proposed carbon soot testing center.
I'm glad to let you know that the fund for the Black Carbon Testing Center has finally been approved, and the project has commenced. And I hope within the next 1 month you will be seeing some people from CCAC and UNEP, and the laboratory that have been earmarked for us will begin to be kitted. It will be the equipment will start arriving, and staff of the university that will be in charge of that testing center will be trained in Bhubaneswar in India, because there's a testing center, and Kaduna State will be a center of excellence and the second in the world for black carbon testing center in research institution.
We are a young university that are striving to see how we can do 1 or 2 things that would improve the commitment of the government towards improving the situation of women in the state. This is part of our mandate as a university to accomplish the objective of the meeting up to the societal needs of our society. So we actually were delighted to partner with West in establishing this important assignment.
RUES is also into creating avenues for rural women to be empowered. In a bid to strengthen their skills acquisition centers and training programs for women and girls, RUES is also in partnership with the Oxford Microfinance Initiative.
Part of the outreach we've been embarking on to position Nigeria and Nigerian women to the international community bore some fruit, and the Oxford University in the UK graciously extended support. Out of this, there's household energy section. And we are also very happy and lucky that when Kaduna State University brought this forward, it became easier for the international community to say, oh, this is a good conduit to be able to get support to Nigeria. And so Kaduna State University is going to be housing the very first black carbon testing center in Africa. And this is meant to test every clean cook stove for the reduction of short-lived climate pollutants and black carbons. And so there's a testing center, there's a laboratory, and there are offices that are meant for RUES to further train women. Every manufacturer can either go to India or come to Nigeria. This will become another source of revenue for the university, because as I know, India charges $1,000 per stove to test the stove for black carbon reduction. This is the future. Most tests are important, efficiency and smoke reductions, but then the future is BC. And now, because black carbon is very dangerous to the health, when inhaled, if it goes to the head, you have a stroke. If it goes to the heart, you have a heart attack. It goes directly into your bloodstream. Nigeria is going to be the next destination after India. And so we're very lucky that this is coming, and this project is about to start. The funding has been released, and hopefully we will be coming back to launch the new testing center very soon. The story of Cookstove has changed forever, because Nigeria is at the forefront of that, and we're very, very lucky to be the second recipient of this intervention. after India. You came with us to Bhubaneswar, and we saw the first generation of these cook stoves. And you also saw that we were able to bring this pilot to Nigeria. And we have finished the first pilot in Mararabamburum and Katampe in the suburbs of Abuja. So we intend, our hope and target is that we will be able to do 10,000 homes annually. And this is climate, with climate credits to enable the women afford it. And so this is a sector now I can proudly say can fund itself.
The visiting team from the Oxford Microfinance Initiative had a workshop with microfinance banks in Kaduna State.
So we actually have a mandate to work on a couple of different issues, one being that curriculum, the other being strategic advice for RUAs as an organization. Within the curriculum itself, just now we had a meeting with a number of entrepreneurs. So between the field visits, the meetings with the entrepreneurs, the meetings with microfinance and other officials in government and development, we're going to synthesize this information to produce some of the best practices, so to speak, in this environment, both for poverty alleviation as well as clean cook stove implementation, hopefully to reinvigorate the market. We've looked at some of the ways that the products themselves are being sold and some of the ways that they're being marketed.
The team was tasked to develop a green microfinance strategy for RUES. They explored various best practices which RUES could adopt, either through operational measures or through the loans to be disbursed to the women, and recommendations on how they can reduce their environmental footprint while maintaining their microfinance operations. The RUES team was also at some communities in Katsina to inspect some households currently being serviced by RUES with cook stoves and solar lantern package. During a visit to Kaduna State, the Commissioner for Women Affairs expressed willingness to partner with RUES in uplifting rural women.
Because the women are the largest society. Actually, it affects the family. And the health of a woman is also very key because she's the nucleus of the family. She takes care of the children, and hardly does she even think about herself. She's always thinking about the family first. So I believe that whatever it is that can actually bring an income to the woman, improve her health and that of her family, I think it is very key and very important. We want every woman to benefit from this project. We want every family to be safe. We want all the children to be healthy and to be going to school because education is very key.
The visiting Oxford University students have this to say about RUE's efforts at enhancing the lives of the rural woman.
The popularity of the clean cook stoves themselves is, it's well known that the pollutants from traditional cooking methods is extremely harmful for the health of anybody in the vicinity of that cook stove or campfire or whatever it is. So women, children, mothers, unborn babies, they're all affected by the pollution because typically speaking, the fires exist indoors and there's poor ventilation. So the buildup of the smoke and the black carbon is generally internalized by the people in near proximity. So the clean cook stoves, by reducing the pollution of the fires, by reducing the fuel consumption, helps for both the health of everyone involved as well as the health of the environment by decreasing the amount of fuel usage and associated deforestation, which has all sorts of follow-on effects.
I think that in terms of empowering women from a very bottom-up level, that's incredibly important for the women in the country and also for empowerment from a family unit as a whole. So I think that's my impression of it, and I think RUES is definitely dedicating itself to a very, very strong and good cause.
RUES is fighting for a very good cause because the cause is to empower women in Nigeria to open up, to set up new markets and to bring more money into the Nigerian economy. In addition to this, it also helps with health issues, to help with what WHO report said that a lot of women and children in Nigeria, they struggle with health because of cookstove that they use. They are very unhealthy and they produce a lot of pollution, and working in indoors, outdoors kitchen.
Once upon a time, the human enterprise kick-started when we discovered how to make fire. We released the energy encapsulated in wood to make cozy fires for cooking and warming our houses. We released the energy in ancient sunlight stored underground by burning oil, coal, and natural gas. We use that energy for moving ourselves around in cars, trucks, and aeroplanes, for generating electricity. Humans are real pyromaniacs. Our knowledge of how to use fire is vast. It has been vital in helping us to prosper. But this burning releases soot. The soot is everywhere around us. Scientists have shown that it contributes to warming up the globe. Back in the early days, we were a few people living on a big planet. Emissions from our harnessing of fire were not a problem. Today, we are 7 billion people living on what seems like a much smaller planet. Every year, huge quantities of particles, including soot and pollutant gases, enter the atmosphere as a result of incomplete burning of wood and fossil fuels. So what is soot? Scientists use the term black carbon to describe those particles that come from incomplete combustion that are mostly made up of carbon. Carbon dioxide mostly sticks around in the atmosphere for 100 years or more, but black carbon only lasts a few days. So reducing soot has an immediate effect. It's called black, of course, because these particles are black and they absorb sunlight the way a black t-shirt does in the summer. When black carbon falls on polar ice caps and mountain glaciers, it makes them darker, so they reflect less of the sun's energy back out to space, and they absorb more heat, and the ice melts faster.
Oh my gosh, look at this stuff. I had no idea it was so thick in here. It's amazing.
Production of goods and transportation that produces fine particulate air pollution, including black carbon, affects the health of people, often in the poorer parts of the world, and the health of the planet as a whole. What is emitted in one part of the world will have effects in another part. Black carbon emissions from sources including deforestation and burning of biomass in one area can alter rainfall patterns over a much wider region, as well as having domino effects by affecting downwind and regionally connected weather systems. Fortunately, the worst sources of black carbon are well known. First, cooking stoves using firewood and kerosene lamps to light up the evenings. Second, farming, burning open fields, grasses and woodlands, and burning of agricultural and forestry waste. Third, of diesel vehicles without modern pollution controls and cargo ships burning bunker fuel. Finally, industries like traditional brick kilns and coke ovens that use enormous amounts of firewood, coal and such, or flaring from oil and natural gas production. The question is, what can we do about it? We can install particle filters on all diesel engines. More efficient industries like kiln designs that use less energy, producing less pollution. It may sound like a mammoth task, but it can be done because we have the technology. The trick is how to achieve the implementation. For example, owners need supportive loan structures to help fund upfront investments. Close to 3 billion people worldwide cook their food on open fires and leaky stoves, using biomass such as wood, animal dung and crop waste, or coal. So a big step is to work together in making a switch to simple, low-cost modern stoves that use clean fuels and are already designed and could be widely distributed. In some villages in Madhya Pradesh, cattle manure is already being used to produce relatively clean biogas for burning, and this releases a lot less soot than directly burning the manure. Among children under the age of 5, pneumonia is the most common cause of death worldwide, of which half is caused by toxic indoor smoke.
We did realize that the health effects of black carbon on the health of especially women and children, about 3 million women die from related chest and respiratory problems. Ghana, we were one of the first countries to join America and Sweden to establish the CAC. And the benefits of trying to halt the emission of black carbon is tremendous. Then also we look at deforestation. We'll be able to have a better sustainable management of the forest.
Deforestation, the change of land use from forest to agriculture, clearing the land after logging and the basic practice of slash and burn agriculture, creates a lot of soot and other particles and polluting gases, with important transboundary effects on climate and health. Burning of residues is the cheapest way for the farmer to prepare land after harvest. A solution to the burning of fields is to plough in the residues or collect them to use as livestock feed or for biogas. There are 9 specific solutions that scientists have evaluated. If we could drastically reduce black carbon emissions together with other short-lived climate pollutants, we could potentially prevent more than 2.5 million deaths per year from outdoor air pollution alone. Another major benefit would be to reduce the rate of global warming and significantly increase our chances to stay within the 2-degree target. We would also avoid disrupted rainfall patterns that put agriculture and ecosystems in jeopardy.
The only obstacle that you want to highlight is the political will and political commitment, to implement the national plan at the national level. But when we get everybody, political leaders, civil societies, NGOs on board, then I think we'll be able to cross the barrier and make gains. And in addition, you spend less money on health because people will be healthy. So that is why I believe that public education should be strong, and then also bring on board our political leaders to understand the economic gain in trying to reduce carbon emissions.
What we need to accomplish can only be done together. This must be a joint effort. We need to be wise. But these are impacts that we can deal with now. Time for a global chimney sweep. We all need to be involved.